All right, so today, mindset matters. So one of the things that I was really excited about in this chapter, is we're on develop your 12-week plan. Those that are very, very successful in business, they just don't start without a plan. They just don't start without a plan, and they don't start without a vision of where they're going to go with that plan. So we've talked about our vision, and I'm hopeful that you're all working on that. I'm still working on mine. It's not completely crafted. I have someone I trust who I'm bouncing it off of, and I'm getting some feedback on, and someone who's going to help me really narrow it down. So if you don't have someone to help you narrow it down, we've got plenty of people on this call that are all listening to the same thing. Reach out to one another. You can open up the participants, click on the participant link at the bottom and see all the participants, and you can actually private message one of these participants in the chat while you're on. And what that'll do for you is it will allow you the opportunity to have a private conversation on this Zoom where you can connect with someone whom you might want to work on your plan together with. It's always better to do it in twos. How many of you like to go to the gym by yourself, or you like to go with an accountability partner? I like an accountability partner because an accountability partner will make me go, right? It'll hold me. It'll allow me to hold myself accountable at a higher level. So here we go. We're going to go into mindset shift. Here's number one. This is on page 90 if you have the book. If you don't, you can just listen and take notes, and that'll be fine too. One, I already know what I need to do, so I don't need to plan to get it done. Right? I already know what I need to do, so I don't need a plan to get it done. And what the author says is that on the surface, this seems very reasonable. I know I need to go to the gym. What do I need a plan to go to the gym? Right? I know I need to go to the gym. Why do I need a plan on going to the gym? However, there's almost always a gap between what people know and what they do. Write that down. Write that down. There's always a gap between what people know and what they do. And I know this only applies to me. This doesn't apply to anybody else on this call. Where you know what you should do, and then there's a gap between what you actually do, right? So knowing what to do isn't enough. Knowing what to do isn't enough. That's why it's so critically important for you to have in this order, and write this down, your why of why you do what you do, a big vision around what you want to accomplish both personally and professionally, and that why and that vision drives your goals on a 12-week plan, and each of those 12-week plans get you to your end result. Okay, so back to knowing what we need to do, and you don't need a plan to get it done. The author says this: the world is noisy. Unexpected happens, distractions arise, our innate desire for comfort, that's the amygdala, our innate desire for comfort tugs at us, and we lose focus on the things we know we should do. We lose focus on the things we know we should do. So to increase your odds of success, one of the most powerful things you can do is to create and work from a written plan. Create and work from a written plan. So I'm going to take you back right now. And if you weren't on the call last week, I think it was, we talked about the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. Who remembers that? And we said the amygdala does what? Keeps you in fear, right? It's the thing because it's protecting you. So it's saying run away, run away, run away. But our amygdala doesn't have a conscience. It doesn't realize the thing that it's telling you to run away from is actually something that will be good for you. All it knows is that you're uncomfortable. So the more that you stay in that place, the more you train your brain to be in fear and run away. So you want to actually really work your prefrontal cortex. So like yesterday, this morning, I was on Facebook for my 15 minutes. I have 15 minutes and then my alarm tells me to get off, and I get off. I don't know. How many of you got that on Facebook where it tells you to get off? It is the best thing. Set an alarm on Facebook on your phone, and when you've been on Facebook a certain amount of time, it tells you you're at your max. I love it, right? Why do you guys think paint and sip is so popular before COVID? Well, you can go drink and paint and be creative at the same time. I mean, talk about a prefrontal cortex light up, right? I mean, these are the things that we do that actually light up our prefrontal cortex. So if you look at creating your vision plan and creating your 12-week plan as a creation, as a way for you to create that perfect life, that life by design. That's what this is. So if you look at a plan that way, instead of something that it's, I have to do, and why should I do it? Because I know what I have to do anyway, you will train your prefrontal cortex to be really excited about that plan. Okay? It's a mind shift. I know it is. And it sounds fluffy duffy, but it's true, right? It's true. So here's the second mindset shift. So that's the first one. I already know what I need to do, so I don't need a plan to get it done. And knowing what to do is just not enough. You do need a plan to get it done. Second mindset shift. Living your life in the moment can be done in two very different ways, all right? So we're living our life in the moment. And there are two ways that can happen. One, reactively or proactive. So I want you to write down in the moment dash, reactive or proactive, question mark. In the moment dash, reactive or proactive, question mark. Thank you, Deanna. This is awesome. Thank you for writing these notes. Deanna's putting the notes in the chat box. So you can pull the chat box up and see. Thank you so much. And I always say, well, which am I, reactive or proactive? Well, here's how you know. If you are reactive in the moment, you risk taking suboptimal actions because the primary drivers of your actions are input triggers. Okay, what does that mean in layman's terms? What that means is if you are reactive in the moment, then you are at the mercy of whatever is dragging your attention right then. And those things may or may not serve you in your long-term goal. You guys get what I'm saying? Raise your hand if you do. Raise your hand if you do. Okay. So when we say to ourselves, and we say this a lot in the real estate business, I was having a conversation with an agent yesterday, and she said to me, and she may or may not be on this call, if someone calls me after hours, I want to answer the call because I'm afraid I'm going to lose the business, right? I'm afraid I'm going to lose the business. So the way that we can turn that around is we can turn that around to say there is enough real estate business for everyone, and it is in abundance. And if I make a decision to break away from my family event or time to answer this call, how is that serving me and my family in the long run? How is that serving me and my family in the long run? One of the agents that I coached up in Vermont, she had a similar challenge. And up in Vermont, I mean, if you're doing 45 deals a year, right, Terry, you're lighting it on fire. I mean, 45 deals a year is a big, big deal because in Vermont, there's just not a lot of people and there's just not a lot of real estate. It's very different than down here. And she was closing about 45 deals a year. And she said, I just am on all day long and I'm exhausted. And I said to her, I said, well, what is the worst thing that could happen if you put an automatic message on your text and you recorded a voicemail that says, if you're contacting me after 7 p.m., I may not be able to respond to you until 8 a.m. the following day. Her business grew, and so did her time with her family. Because being present in the moment for 2 hours at night versus being distracted went a long way. It's how are things serving you? This is a life by design, not by default. Yes, Deanna, you teach others how to treat you. It's just a suggestion. It's not right or wrong. And yet, if you've never tried it, you don't know if it'll work. right? The worst thing that could happen is you lose one deal. Okay, well, you lose one deal, and yet at the same time, you gain time with your family, which is the more important relationship, right? Right? We asked ourselves back in the traveler's gift, we said, do our families or our significant others, do they get the worst or the best of us? Do they get the worst or the best of us? And many times they get the worst of us because of our failure to plan. See how all this connects, guys? See how all this connects? But we live in a reactive world. We live in a reactive world, so we're reactive. And yet we have to decide how we are going to teach other people to treat us. And that includes our clients and our customers, right? Okay. So that is the second mindset shift. Living your life in the moment can be done two different ways, reactively or proactively, which is you. When you are reactive, you are typically, this is on page 91, you are typically not choosing between good activity and bad activity. So let me explain the difference here. You're not choosing between good activity and bad activity. What you're choosing between is higher value and lower value activity. And actually, the ranking often isn't clear in the moment. Okay, so let me give you an example of this. You're in the middle of lead generation and your phone rings and it's your client. And you answered the phone call at that moment. Can you identify if that's a high value or a low value activity in the moment? No, because what you did is this person wants your attention. They're doing like this. And so you picked up the phone. When actually your lead generation is the higher value activity, because that is the conversations you need to be having to move your business forward, right? So what's to be lost by just putting that answering that phone call off for an hour? I mean, really, what is going to be lost? Nothing. I mean, if you were with another client and you couldn't answer the phone, would you justify that and say, well, I couldn't answer for this client because I was with this client? So it's the same thing with your lead generation. Your lead generation has to be that important to you. Okay. So when you plan for your 12-week plan, whatever that time block is it's being proactive about that time block and not reactive. All right. Mindset number 3. Let's go to page, if you've got the book, if you will go to page 100. And then I'm going to ask you guys to comment on some of the things we've been through or talked through today. On page 101, actually, another thinking barrier to effective planning is that you don't have enough time to plan. So here's what I want you to write down on number 3. I have an abundance of time to plan. That's mindset shift number 3. I have an abundance of time to plan. I have an abundance of time to plan. Okay. So the benefit of planning is this. I got to mute somebody. There we go. The benefits of planning are this, is if you take time to plan before engaging with a complex task, you reduce the overall time required to complete the task by as much as 20%. This was actually demonstrated. I don't know if you all remember, but Karen and Kim were actually talking on this call last week or maybe the week before about how they used to get together the night before and they would plan their lead gen for the next day. And it gave them the ability to get to it faster and get it done more quickly. Right, Karen? Because you planned the night before. So if you've ever planned the night before, the benefit is you run right into it. If you've ever not planned the night before, how much time do you spend at the beginning of your lead generation getting your list together to call? No, am I the only one with that experience? Right? So if we only have an hour to lead generate and we spend 30 minutes getting our list together, then we've only allowed ourselves 30 minutes to lead generate. When you say yes to one thing, you say no to something else. And so if we already know that that is going to probably be a distraction, then we build those distraction buffer times into our calendar. How many of you build in buffer times in your calendar for distractions? All right. So I don't know about you, but when I get to the end of my day, I find that I have packed my calendar so much that I've not allowed for any distractions. And so at the end of the day, I have guilt because I didn't get done what I wanted to get done and what I planned to do. And the reality is because I just didn't plan for the distractions. So in the 12-week plan, if you'll remember, if you go back, and I'm not sure which chapter it is, but it talks about creating buffer time in your calendar for the unexpected, If you're going to make your time blocks, adhere to them. Now we say, okay, well, that's easy to do. Well, actually, it's not easy to do, right? It's not easy to do. So you must be very disciplined around your time blocks. Catherine said something else that was very important. Perfection is the enemy of profit. Write it down. Perfection is the enemy of profit. It's also the enemy of progress. And if you're striving for perfection, you will always be disappointed. So the 12-week year, again, I go back to here. He said, if at the end of your day, and I love it, Catherine, that you did that, and Deanna, you did it, because the 12-week year says at the end of the day, look back over your day and give yourself a rating. Rate yourself on your lead gen, rate yourself on your appointment, whatever it is you think are your key indicators. You know, for Amanda, she's looking for an administrative assistant. So rate yourself on the time spent on that. Whatever it is that you're doing in your plan to build your year and execute on your goal, rank yourself. And if you're above 85%, put a W in the win column. Put a W in the win column, because 85% plus is a great, great thing. Thank you for sharing that, Catherine. Terry, you had your hand up.
I don't know if you remember this or not, but remember Adam Hergenrother saying when you're doing your time blocking, that the time you allow, you can fill it with that space. So if you only allow yourself 30 minutes, then give yourself 30 minutes, fill it up. But if you the same activity, if you take 45 minutes, it'll take 45 minutes. So if you shorten it down to 30, it allows you to take that 10, 15-minute break in between the activities. I think that's right. One thing we forget.
That's actually a bold law, right? And Adam said that. I know, I grew up in my Keller Williams days started under Adam Hergenrother. If you don't know who he is, Google him. He's amazing. He has a very big business, and he's probably, in working for him, I've never seen someone time block and adhere to their time blocks like he does and get more done in a day in a shortest amount of time than he does. And it's because all things expand to the time allowed. So a lot of folks, whenever I'm sitting down coaching them, they say, our coaching's only 30 minutes. Yep, because if we stay on task, we're going to get through everything we need to get through in 30 minutes. If we schedule it for an hour, we're going to have about 30 minutes of chit chat and 30 minutes of talking about real business, right? All conversations, all work, all things span to the time allowed. Set a business meeting for 30 minutes and see how much you get accomplished. If you have 3 or 4 specific things you want to cover in that meeting, you'll cover it and be done. I love it. Thank you so much, Terry. We've got time for one more aha, and then we're gonna end the morning. One more aha. Anyone? I thought I saw somebody else's hand up, but maybe I didn't. Okay, guys, we are coming to the end of this book. So where should you be right now? 1, you should be working on your vision. I'm not saying that you should have it done. You should be working on your vision. And again, look at the participants on this call. Write down someone's name or either private message them on this Zoom and ask them if you can share your vision and your plan with them. Ask them to give you feedback. Maybe that person will do it for you. You know the number one way to learn how to do something, guys? Who knows? What's the number one way to learn how to do something? Does anybody know? What is it?
To do it.
Do it as one. Do it as one. Yes. And teach it. Teach it. It's the number one way to learn how to do it. So when someone sends you their vision and you say, and you start going through it, guess what you're going to do? You're probably going to pull out this book and you're going to say, oh gosh, Tina Morocco sent me her vision and she really wants some good information back to me from me. So let me go back and look at this vision part of this book. Well, guess what that does is it helps you create a more solidified vision. Same thing with the 12-week plan. So find somebody on this chat box that you can actually private message and see if you guys can work together. So next, we are going to start the 12-week planning process. So get your vision together first, your big vision, and then start your 12-week plan. Now, your 12-week plan is not a quarterly thing. So if you want to hit the reset button and start your 12-week year today, start your 12-week year today. Or if you want to get your vision and your plan together and hit the reset button and start it on Friday, start it on Friday. Don't put it off till Monday and work over it on the weekend because you'll get doing something fun and you won't do it. Again, all things will fill the time allowed. So give yourself 30 minutes to 45 minutes to work on your vision and get it done, right? You can hit the reset button and start over for your 12-week year. So if starting on Friday, if your goal is to put pending, because a deal closing a lot of times is out of your hands, right? Can you say it's out of your hands? Put pending, right? $5 million in volume, then your year is 5 million in volume and your plan for those 12 weeks sets up for that 5 million in volume. And you focus on your lead measures or your lag measures. Tell me, just say it. I can read your lips. Lead measures or lag measures? Terry says lead. What are your lead measures? What are your lead measures? Starts with an A. Your activities. You can only measure what you can control, and that is your activities. You can measure bending this elbow. This is not an exercise. This is talk on the phone. Pick up the phone. Talk on the phone, right? Have a two-way conversation. It shocks people when you actually call them and you don't text them. Sometimes it shocks them so much they actually answer the phone. So you control your lead measures. All right. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's going on in Keller Williams today. So I've put it all over our private Facebook group. If you're not in Keller Williams and you're watching this, if you'll direct message me or text me, Deanna, can you put my text or my phone number, my cell phone number in the chat box? You can text me. If you're not with Keller Williams and you're watching this live stream and you're in real estate, I'm happy to send you the links for this. From 12 to 1 today, I'm actually doing a video, a Zoom on getting listings in a low inventory market. Now, I did not realize when I scheduled this that there was also a call going on with the region today, with the South Florida region today, where some of the top agents that are getting listings right now in a low inventory market are going to tell you guys how they're doing it. And you can yourself pick up nuggets and do these same things. So if you come to one or you come to both, it's up to you, but attend one of them. Attend one of them. If you have a choice, should you attend mine or should you attend the region? I would highly recommend you attend the region's panel because you can get me anytime. But these agents you're going to see today at 1 o'clock from 1 to 3, you may not get the opportunity to see them or have a conversation with them and ask questions of them like you'll get to today. So if you attend nothing this month, attend 2 things. Today's class at 1 o'clock on for the region. Can you put the link in the chat box, Tiana, for the region? And number 2, family reunion. Family reunion. Guys, we are going to be masterminding in this office around family reunion at the end of every day. And that mastermind is only available for those who have a ticket to family reunion. And everyone's going to come together and share what they've learned. And if there's one thing I know about my almost 10 years in Keller Williams is that family reunion is where the brightest ideas come from to set you up for success for the rest of the year. It is amazing. So please, if you haven't registered, reach out to Deanna, reach out to Katarina, reach out to Morgan. reach out to me. We'll get you registered. You guys have a limitless day. I appreciate you. Mwah! Hopefully you'll be on that listing call today. Take control of your listings. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.